Hey everyone, how is everything going over there where you are? Welcome to our tap room meeting, and I'm terribly sorry for being late a little bit. My Windows actually forced me to install all the updates and wait for them to install. You know how painful that process is, right? So, well, those one of you who knows about it will forgive me. Those one who not, I'm happy for you guys. Anyway, welcome to our Thursday tap room, and that is the only tap room where you allowed actually to break any rule that usually unbreakable. When you're sitting in the table, you can keep your phone switched on. You can make a bubble through a straw. You can put your legs on the table. Like do whatever you want. Just grab a couple of pizza and a couple of whiskey or beer, whatever you like, guys. So, just for the ones of you who are first time here in our tap room, uh, quick reminder, just quick introduction of what's happening over there. So this tap room is actually initiative of StarWind software, and me and my colleague and actually friend Max are conducting this webinar, this tap room. So we are just relaxing here and talking about the technical things. Uh, this is some kind of the spice work events, if you know what I'm talking about. And actually, this tap room was began every Thursday, but I think we need to take a little break, and we'll make it not every Thursday, but we'll still keep with that day of the week. And again, for those one who don't know whose voice is it speaking right now from their headphones, my name is Anatoly. You guys can obviously call me Tony. I'm leading the support department at StarWind Software Incorporated for last year, and I have dedicated almost 6 years to this company. My preferred drink is Scotch and Cointreau. And that's actually what I'm gonna drink today. Okay, so what is the agenda for today's session? For aperitif, we're gonna have StarWinter Pure Microsoft discussion. Basically, I'm gonna tell you how exactly what is Irish Handcuffs is, and why Microsoft is involved in that term. After that, we're gonna have yeah, and obviously I'm gonna tell you how StarWind helps to avoid that thing. For Bitter, we'll have the demo stunt overview, and at the main ring, we're gonna see Virtual SAN in action. Obviously, we'll have the QA session at the after party. So, Irish handcuffs is the situation where, by the way, happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone, right? So, Irish handcuffs is the situation when you're holding an alcoholic drink in each hand, and basically you have no options to do something additionally. So you cannot grab the French fries, you cannot grab the big tasty saucy sausage, and you cannot grab any beautiful lady sitting nearby, for example. So, when talking about the IT stuff and when talking about the system administration and system infrastructure and all of those things, what you need to consider is to avoid the situation when you're locked in to the requirements of one, fat cat vendor. How exactly this that right here I want to say that everything that I'm gonna say today is just my opinion. You can share it, you can disagree with it. I'm open for discussion here. And by the way, if there will be a great opposite thoughts to mine, I will gladly unmute the person the owner of that thought, and we will have a discussion about it. So, as I said, Microsoft is basically, well, I'm not saying that this is bad, but this is just how they work. They want that obvious. They want to sell you more licenses of their software, and that's why they are actually forced into breed the uh, servers in your server room. So, for example, let's just review how exactly what exactly Microsoft offers you to do when talking about the whole infrastructure. And when saying whole infrastructure, I mean the compute and the storage layers, even separately or together, something like. So first thing first, they are offering the Hyper-V replica. Good, great. That thing actually replicating everything to some node. It can be within the same data center. It can be far, far away. Uh, Regardless where it will be located, people are actually if by the way, yeah, that thing is actually doesn't cooperate with anything else. And that thing doesn't provide high availability right here, right now, in the data center. So if something will fail right now, you will lose some kind of data, some amount of data. Nobody wants it, right? Okay, not a big deal, right? I mean, a lot of people can actually survive losing 5-10 minutes of data, maybe half an hour, maybe even an hour. Okay, we can live with that. Let's stick with Irish handcuffs topic. When talking about something that actually people want, when talking about the availability or better say fault tolerance of the whole entire system, Microsoft offers cluster storage spaces to achieve this goal. So cluster storage spaces approach actually means that you should have, first of all, you should stick with the compute and storage separated architecture of the system. So you will have dedicated boxes for the Hyper-V, you will have dedicated boxes for the storage layer. You will have dedicated boxes for everything in your infrastructure. So you should, obviously, if you want to have high availability for your virtual machines, you should create the Hyper-V cluster and create the availability on virtualization layer. So minimal 2 servers is required to do that. Good, let's start with that. To get some kind of storage that will work in a high availability manner as well, you need to have, again, 2 servers, additional servers. That's important. According to Microsoft's requirement, you need to have dedicated SAS JBot that will be connected to those servers. Well, some people can live with that as well, but keep in mind that having only one SAS JBot will not actually guarantee the fault tolerance, true fault tolerance, and true high availability. Why? Because the SAS JBot itself gonna be the single point of failure. Well, to be more exact, there's gonna be a backplane within the box, but still. So what Microsoft offers? Well, first of all, what is your guess about how to avoid that? You need to have more than one, which actually logically means 2. Okay, 2 we can survive, but no, Microsoft has 3. You need to have 3 SAS JBots to avoid the single point of failure in your system when taking the pure Microsoft approach of building of the entire infrastructure. So again, 2 servers for Hyper-V, 2 servers for cluster storage spaces, and 3 SAS JBots, and that is minimalistic setup. Really, I was actually tired when I was saying all the requirements. I imagine how long will it take and how big budget is for building all of that. Obviously, we can talk about the Microsoft SCSI target as the shared storage solution. Well, Somebody can, we can talk about the scale out file servers. Well, that's not that's again a good idea too here. I mean the good technology, but that thing actually doesn't getting you into the Irish handcuffs. Uh, so cluster storage spaces is the thing that I actually wanted to refer on this tab room. So what actually StarWind offers to find that thing is hardware agnostic design. It offers the StarWind for free. It offers the VM-centric file system, which cluster storage space and doesn't even have, maybe somewhere in the roadmap probably, and inline duplication, which Microsoft doesn't have at all. They have only offline duplication. So let's stick with the hardware agnostic design here, and just remember those options that you have on your screens right now, because I'm gonna switch to the next slide that's gonna be actually a demo stand overview, and you will see the real minimalistic setup according not to somebody's marketing statements, but according to logic. 2 servers, that's all you need. StarWind offers you, well, right now you see the VMware actually here on the screen, but the thing StarWind works with the Hyper-V, StarWind works with the VMware, StarWind works with everything. And that's the good thing right here. So what StarWind actually offers here is installing the shared storage solution on the same box in the hypercare container, where the virtualization or any other compute layer is actually located and running, and converting its local storage into the shared storage that can act in the fault tolerance manner, that can provide VM-centric workload performance increased technologies, that can provide all the 3 cornerstones that are required to build the business continuity, which are, as you may know, snapshots. The second one is availability, or again fault tolerance, and the third one is disaster recovery copy. That thing is actually not fully included into the slide, but that's why I'm here to tell you about it. About the hardware agnostic here, and actually everywhere, when we are talking that we are hardware agnostic, that means that we actually can fit any hardware. That StarWind can be installed on any general purpose server and convert it into the shared storage. So, you know, my colleague Alex, he's a sales guy. He usually, when somebody asks about the system requirements or hardware requirements, he usually says one pretty good statement. If Windows Server can run there on the server, that means the StarWind can fly there. And that is exactly how StarWind works. It doesn't have some specific requirements. It doesn't have, well, let's compare with something that exists. It does not require having SAS hardware, which assumes SAS Java, SAS wires, SAS APIs. It doesn't need to have the any switching at all, and that is exactly what you see on the slide right now. It doesn't require having the flash. Obviously, StarWind can utilize the flash, and there are actually 2 ways how it can be done. But StarWind doesn't require that. It's not a requirement, it's not mandatory to have the flash. By the way, StarWind can utilize the flash by converting it into the shared storage, or option 2 is by converting it into the level 2 caching of StarWind devices. Well, if somebody is interested in that, just type your questions in. Oh, by the way, if somebody has any questions that are just popping up in your head when I'm talking, just type in the questionnaire chat box in the GoToMeeting. I will gladly answer all of them. And just don't be shy. I mean, Klaus, if you have some question, shoot it out. Mr. Tuzov, if you have some questions, fire away. No problem. Once I will have 1 minute or enough time to answer that, I will gladly answer all that. And the question right here from Peter uh, is, how does StarWind know to use SSD for cache instead of primary storage? Uh, Pretty simple question actually. That actually depends on how you will configure the StarWind device. So you can put the StarWind image files on the flash cache or in a wizard, in a device wizard, or you can just feed the flash through the wizard as the level 2 caching. That part is actually pretty straightforward, and I'm gonna show you how it can be done on the live demo session. But good question actually. Thanks. Okay, few things that we had on the list as well is VM-centric file system with snapshots and bunch duplication and disaster recovery set. I'm not gonna spread a lot of words right here, just gonna give you the brief information. So StarWind developed the proprietary log structuring file system. Well, that's exactly what stands for LSFS. And that thing is basically helps to fight the IOP render by converting typical virtualized workload, which is dominated by the multiple small random operations. So StarWind LSFS converts those small operations into the big into the stream of big sequential operations. And as you may know, the small randoms are actually the performance killer of the system, while the big sequential, right, are beloved by any array and any rate array. I mean, especially when talking about the parity arrays, rate 4, 5, 40, 50, any of those. Also, StarWind LSFS helps to create the snapshots, thus giving you ability to restore in any point in time. By the way, a little bit technical information here. StarWind LSFS creates its own snapshots. We call them service snapshots, and also and that thing actually records everything always. I mean, always, always, always. And the second snapshot type is the thing that you are taking manually or automatically through the wizard. That thing is configurable. And that thing actually is application aware. It works in a team with the volume shader copy service, so all the backups are going to be consistent. Trick here is that StarWind can actually offload all of those snapshots from the primary location where they are initially stored to the disaster recovery location, which is going to be equipped with the not expensive SATA spindles, not expensive high capacity SATA spindle, which is important here, and the high cost, high IOPS primary system disk space not going to be wasted to store the cold data, which is a snapshot itself. Well, that's mostly it from what is. Another question from Peter. Is LSFS a proprietary file system, or does Windows or VMware get to format the StarWind storage at the NTFS VMFS? Okay, so LSFS is something that works beneath the client, beneath the file system from the client side. So if we could imagine the abstraction layers of the system from the very bottom, first you have the hard drive, then you have the NTFS of the operation system where the StarWind is running. On top you've got the virtual disk, and that is exactly where the LSFS is, and then you got the client application, like virtual machines with their own file system. Okay, question from team. Do I actually need to configure my RAID controller with a RAID 10 or 5 volume or the physical disk or standalone disk so that StarWind does replicate? Well, team, as I said, StarWind is 100% hardware agnostic, so you don't need have any array, have any RAID array. Technically, StarWind can actually be launched even from your laptop. Well, it will give you some warnings during the installation, and that is definitely not something that we support to run in a production environment, but it will work. StarWind can be installed on Windows 7 or Windows 8, and it will utilize your small hard drive into the shared storage. Good. And another question from Peter. Are you suggesting that we can configure each box as RAID 0? I'm suggesting you to stick with the requirements of your system, actually. RAID related questions are actually the most hard one, because mostly the RAID requirement depends on the let me say follow. Recommended RAID for implementing NHA are actually RAID, once again, recommended, not mandatory, not required. Recommended RAID for implementing NHA are RAID 1 or 0, 10, and 5 or 6 are recommended to be used only with the LSFS device type. The performance of the RAID array directly depends on the stripe size used. And there are no exact recommendations of which stripe size to use here. It is a test by choice and so at the RAID type. So, long story short here, the requirement to the RAID array, StarWind will act as a RAID array allows. So the question here is what RAID type your application actually requires. Because for example, we have RAID 1, RAID 0, and RAID, 5. And we have the backups, virtual machines, and databases. So RAID 1 is slow but redundant. RAID 0 is not redundant but fast. And RAID 5 is, well, not too fast, but it's actually redundant. So database will actually, backups doesn't need a big speed, but they need to be stored in a safe place, which gives us RAID 1. Virtual machines, well, yeah, they are sensitive to some data loss, but if they will fail, we can actually recover from the backups, which are on the RAID 10. So that gives us RAID 0. And due to a lot of reasons, RAID 5 will be used for storing data bases. Team is actually trying to compare StarWind to EMC Scale IO, and that's the questions that I would like to leave for the question and answer session if nobody minds. Okay, so what I am going to do right now is to share with you my screen, because in a few minutes we're gonna see the StarWind virtual SAN in action. Sorry, got a cold. Okay, so I'm opening my remote desktop to our servers that had a lot of things installed here. And one other thing is actually StarWind. So this is how StarWind looks like for those who didn't know. I'm pretty sure that everybody knew. And answering to question about how L2 caching can be configured, I'm gonna create the StarWind storage. We need to take, well, this button add device is something that makes you to stick with default settings that we actually developed. So if you want something, and we actually haven't included the auto caching into that. So if you want to configure something that will consume L2 cache, or something that's gonna use more than 128 megabytes of random access memory as L1 cache, or if you want to configure something beside the flash storage, I mean LSFS, RAM disk, export physical tape, you need to stick with the device advanced. So the wizard is actually pretty straightforward here. So let's create a small one. Let's say it's going to be 13 gigs. We need the SIG provisioned, and here where the write back caching is configuring, and right here we're choosing to use the flash at the level 2 caching. Well, I'm going to stick with no caching at all. So right here we have the newly created storage, and I'm going to show you how to well, that's not what I wanted, how to connect, how to convert it into the high availability storage. New. Boom. So right click, replication manager, add replica, and just click next when you have such ability. You know, like, no time to explain, click next. So changing network settings, basically configuring network settings. Not a very good idea. We need to rename that. So in 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1. Click refresh, and here's Waldo. Now that actually have availability storage, it's gonna synchronize for some time. Well, that's not the fastest server in the world actually. Let me just quickly show you how to connect to it, but that is kind of really straightforward process here as well. So all you need to do is properly configure the discovery portals. You know, just you can make a screenshot right now to, you know, be sure. And actually, we got a lot of documentation on our website that showed it well. So what was the name of our guy? It was storage 5. Storage 5. 5, 5, 5, 5. Maybe I'm blank. No, it was 5. Yeah. So just click connect, click here, that's important, and okay. And do the same with the second one. Basically, you need to do that thing. Oh, whoa. Nope, not here. Basically, you need to do this thing in the Microsoft Code Initiator on every server. You do love Microsoft products, right? It's Code Initiator. Well, it's not like I'm against this Code Initiator, but due to the fact that due to the fact that StarWind actually what is going on here? Okay, never mind. Due to the fact that Microsoft Caching Share is actually on the made their own awesome made their own product free that actually killed the Microsoft SCSI initiator, actually SCSI initiator industry. So usually we had our own product, but since low demand, and it was actually even faster compared to a mass product, not too reliable but faster. But due to the market thing that I told you, eh, not we decided to stop working on this project, unfortunately. Well, okay, never mind. So what I wanted to show you right now is how StarWind helps to survive the failures, disasters, tragedies. So we've got the test virtual machine here. This is the one. Okay, looks like my account. Okay, so 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Good. Oh look, it's alive, alive. Well, at least it looks like alive, or should look like. Let's wait a bit. Oh, come on, honey, don't disappoint me. Okay, it's not booting, but it's alive. You thought that, right? Okay, let's lock it and try to log in again. Finally, sweetheart, you came back. Okay, so show me what you got here. That's not what I wanted. I wanted here. So, go away. Get out of here. As you can see, this one is on HVN3 machine, which is local. First of all, let's verify that it's actually migrating somewhere. And in 3, 4, 5, 11, 2, 7, 0. Yeah, that's normal. It's here. It works. Looks like somebody needs a reboot. Okay, while it's thinking, I'd like to bring you the current owner of the virtual machine and the HA partner of the StarWind storage. Here the one. Just wanted to show you that this is the one. So let's get back to the HVN here, and maybe the thing will actually allow me to connect to it in one way or another. Sweetheart, please. It's gonna kill me. Alright, gonna kill myself. Well, okay. We've got something here. I don't even know what's going on here. Well, anyway, it's running. It's indicated here. So let's see what will happen if we will bring the whole entire data store down. Let's just restart it. Other plant. Continue. What? Yes, I'm gonna restart anyway. I'm a tough guy. I know what I'm doing. You see, it's live migrating, and in 4, 5, 3, 2, 1, it's coming back here. Probably it will. Yeah, that thing will actually help us, allow us to get here again. And that is why actually you guys need availability to fight some kind of failures. Yeah, Tim, I just saw your hint. Tim actually offered to reopen the Microsoft Management Console. Yeah, that was a good hint probably, because you know how Microsoft works. If it's not working, just restart it. Everything will work. You know, the magic of Microsoft. Okay, so boom, 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 boom. What I want. That was it from the demo slide. That guy makes me happy, really. So that's why you need StarWind. You know, just a quick conclusion. StarWind helps to fight any kind of failures, regardless. It's some kind of all-in-one solution, since it gives all the requirements to achieve the business continuity, and that is actually everything that I had said previously, so I will not bother you guys with repeating it again. So, questions from team. I'm trying to compare to EMC scale IO. You know, it's actually a good question, because right now we're working on a comparison for between StarWind and EMC solution for that. But making long story short, this is some kind of general comparison between the hardware solution and software solution. So with hardware solution, you have the hardware lock-in. You're forced to use everything from one vendor. You're forced to stick with the proprietary hardware parts. So for example, if the hardware will fail, you will need to get proprietary one. You cannot get the replacement in the next corner shop. Also, in 5 years, it will be cheaper and more cost efficient, but I say, for you to get a new box instead of just updating the support plan on the existing one. Okay, so well, I hope that answered your question. If not, just let me know. Question from Peter. For VMware, can we provision the StarWind storage as Windows NFS instead of iSCSI? For sure, since StarWind runs on top of the Windows, it's actually possible to create the Windows share on top of the StarWind share using the hyperconverged manner, and layer the VMware VMFS on top of that. Question from Andrei. StarWind offers high availability or fault tolerance? That's a brilliant question, Andrei. Thank you for questioning that. So what StarWind does is actually the fault tolerance. And educational minute here. Let me clarify what is the difference between high availability and fault tolerance. And the best example will be here is how VMware works and comparing to how Hyper-V works. So, and by the way, Hyper-V provides, as a maximum, it provides high availability, while VMware can provide high availability and fault tolerance. So let's stick with the top configuration: the high availability for Hyper-V and with the fault tolerance for VMware. If you have two Hyper-V servers that are configured as cluster, and you have the virtual machines on top of the cluster, the virtual machine is actually running on one of the hosts. And if that host gonna face some tough time, and it will be just, well, for example, we're gonna, for some reason, gonna pull the power cord off the server. Then the virtual machine, it will appear on the second or the other node on the another cluster node, but it will appear there as restarted. That's how availability works. It doesn't replicate the data from the random access memory of the virtual machine. What VMware offers is fault tolerance, and that thing is actually replicating the data from the random access memory on every hypervisor host in the system. Obviously, if one of the servers, one of the nodes, going to be turned off or broken, anything will happen, the virtual machine will just continue running, just live migrate to some best possible node or something else depending on the configuration. But, well, you would say, hey, that's cool. Obviously, that's cool. But that is actually really resource consuming, because just imagine, with that config, you need to have if you have 100 machines, you need to get the hardware to run those 100 machines on every virtualization host. So, if you must have high availability, you must have really powerful, if you must have high fault tolerance, I'm sorry, you must have really powerful hardware. So what StarWind does is actually fault tolerance on the storage level. So should one of the storage nodes fail, everything will just continue running from all other nodes that are participating in the storage cluster. And it's a good idea. I'm gonna bring actually a conversation about changing HA to fault tolerance in our naming. So thank you for the question, Andrei. That was a good one. Peter is asking about the pricing and what's the difference with the free version. Well, the main depending on the free version actually, because we have three free versions. First free version we have for the just a standalone edition. The second free edition is a time limited for the VMware users, and that one is limited to run on top of the VMware host. And the third one we have also time limited offer for the Microsoft specialists, and that one can run on top of the Windows server. The main disadvantage of the second and third, of the two last ones, free versions, is absence of support. So should everything fail, anything, or you will have some technical questions, or anything that requires involving StarWind support team, you don't have the direct contact with us. You will need to go to the forum and post your question there. I mean, we honestly, we're doing a great job there. We are helping people, and you can just read through the topic there and thread, and you will see that we are participating in every discussion there. And we're actually participating, not just sending something like, okay, good news, thank you, I'm closing the street, like somebody does. Let's not start finger pointing here. But still, it's not that fast. If you need something urgently, you need direct contact. That's the main difference. Question from team. What if I want to run on server 2012-02 Hyper-V cluster and I don't want to use Microsoft Sky Initiator like used? Good question. There are hardware initiators that you can use. There are probably some other well, usually we actually, all of our documentation tells how to configure Microsoft Sky Initiator because that's the most common one. I'm not saying it's bad or good. That's just the reality of it. Another question from team is, can StarWind just create the SMB share storage? Not directly, again, that's going to be Windows powered. Okay, looks like we're out of the question. I'm giving you about 15 seconds to type your additional questions if you have some. I'm gonna have the Jägermeister tonight. Yeah, I will definitely do. Okay, so no questions here. And before I will say thank you, I'd like to make a small introduction of our webinar that's gonna happen on 25th of March, so it's gonna be next week. My best friend is gonna conduct it, so Max Kolomeitsev. So that beardy guy gonna tell you how you can scale out freely and how to avoid hardware lock-ins using the StarWind, obviously. Um, if you are interested in registering, I did a perfect job and I have created a short link for you that's on the bottom of your screen right now. So I'm giving you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 second to tap it down. And before I will thank you, I'd like to say that the video, that the tap room is actually recorded, and we're gonna upload it on our website tomorrow. So no worries if you missed something. So thank you, my dear champions. Thank you for joining our tap room. Thank you for a great questions, especially to Team Peter and Andre. And have a great evening, have a great weekend, have a great everything. Bye bye, sayonara, bon voyage, до свидания.